Hey guys, welcome back. First of all, everybody, and let me quickly introduce myself. Then I'll come to you guys as well. So my name is Marsha, right? And you can call me Law. That's fine, no issue. And I did my CCI in the data center and enterprise as well. You can call as a route switch if you are belong from the older school, right? And I did my CCI in the 2019, the first CCI I had completed in the 2019. Then I'll move to the data center, right? And I started my journey in the networking, right, in 2017. So I have almost 8 years of experience. I work for the Juniper, right? And currently I'm working for the Cisco as well as a TAC engineer, right? So that's my quickly introduction. And basically I'm from Bihar and I'm living in the Delhi right now. Okay, so that's my quick introduction to you guys. I'll come to you, then I'll come to the topics that we are gonna cover it, right? So Anuj, how about you guys? Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, Anuj this side, and I'm working as a senior specialist in HCL, and in my project we have a LAN, wireless, and soon data center is also coming, and SD-WAN project is also supposed to come.
Okay, good man. So you are the specialist in the SCL right now, right? How many experience you have?
Yeah, 10 years.
So the reason I'm taking the quick intro, guys, let me tell you that so that I have a clear picture of what you know and where should I start the class, right? And how about the Bipin? Bipin, can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Can you explain yourself, Bipin? Is it possible?
Sir, I have a 7 year of experience, 6 year of experience in networking,
Okay.
and 1 and 2 year experience in firewall.
Okay, great, man. So you are basically from the network plus security both team, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anuj, how about you, man? Anuj, Arun,
Yeah,
how many experience you have?
yeah, I've already mentioned it, 10
Okay,
years.
you mentioned that. Kuldeep,
Hello.
yeah, Kuldeep, tell me about yourself.
Yes, my name is Kuldeep Raghuvanshi. I have total 10 years of experience, currently
Okay.
working as a senior network engineer in
Okay.
informatics.
And
And
so basically, it looks like everyone is experience of the 5 to 10 years, right? I'm assuming it, right? If somebody doesn't have a below the 5 years experience, can let me know. So I'm assuming everybody has a 5 to 10 years. It's a live class is going on. So let's skip this one. So now help me out. Can anyone tell me if you already have a enterprise network right now in the market, right? We already have a router, we already have a switches, we already have a firewall, right? Why should we go with the data center network? Already we have an enterprise network, right? Anyone? If you already have an enterprise network, you already have a service provider network that's handling the lots of, high amount of traffic, then why should I go with the data center? Why? Anyone?
See, in data center, Nexus switches are there, especially which are used for the high traffic and productivity. So
don't you use the Catalyst, the devices for the high amount of traffic?
but they don't have so much eligible for carrying high traffic, data traffic.
How much you are expecting it now?
No, see, MTU size is also the point because
Now you can increase the MTU. The jumbo frame is coming with every devices nowadays, man. Okay, Henny, how many types of operating system we have? Anyone in the network?
So one is for Nexus, like the NXOS. One is for, and the other one is for the Catalyst switches or the routers, like
CatOS, great.
yeah,
third
and
one.
iOS XE as well.
XE as well.
And XR also.
As well, right? Great, good one. And the SAN operating system as well, right?
SAN, and for one operating system that is specific for ACI.
That's leave it right now. So leave this ACI part right now.
Yeah.
Okay, but we do have it exactly. So these are the operating system we have. Guys, please pay attention. The talk about the right now, the Catalyst, iOS, and the XE, right? All these operating system that you are normally see in the enterprise network. If I talk about the service provider, you have a XR, you have a XE, right? And you have a iOS in the service provider as well, right? But if I talk about the data center network, it's totally dedicated for the Nexus, totally dedicated for the Nexus. But it doesn't mean that in your data center network, you are not going to encounter the XR devices. It doesn't mean that you're not going to encounter the iOS device as well. You will encounter in the production network. So when you go the big service provider network, big data center network, you have a connectivity between the XR to the Nexus devices. You have a connectivity the iOS to the Nexus devices. You have a connectivity the Nexus to the ACI as well. So you will encounter the different products in the production network. But if I talk about the training perspective in the complete data center training, what we are going to talk about, we are going to only talk about the Nexus operating system. So whatever technologies, right, that we are going to learn, like OSPF, we have ISS protocol, we have multicasting, VXLAN, VVC, all the ACI, everything we are going to talk about the NX OS perspective only. Right, so we have a different bunch of operating system, but in the data center is totally dedicated to the Nexus operating system. But in production network, you may encounter the different as well. Now, the question again back, why DC? The very simple, one of the great example that we have, one of the example that someone has answered me, the speed. One of the beautiful answer of the DC, the Nexus is what? Speed we have. And the second thing we have reliability. But if I talk about speed is also comes in the picture of the normal nowadays or Catalyst devices as well. If you go to the Catalyst Google and search the Catalyst devices the speed, you will get the 100 Gbps as well right now nowadays. But this 100 Gbps is not sufficient. Based on the current requirement, it's not sufficient. And that's why we are moving toward the Nexus operating system. Nexus nowadays, the current environment, if I talk about, they are giving you the 800 Gbps speed right now. The per code I'm talking about. And that's amazing. Initially, when the networking was, if you go to the history of the networking, initially when the networking was came in the picture in the 90s, 80s time, right? And the switch came in the market, it was called as 10 Mbps of the link. That's enough on the 10 Mbps. So in the 90s time, people was no awareness of this thing, like how much internet will go in the higher level, right? So, people were using the 10 Mbps. And if you remember that, we will have a 2G phone in the, Nokia 2G phones we had it. We were using the 100 kbps, 50 kbps of the link. And it was sufficient for us, right? In the 2005 and 6. But nowadays, now the requirement, if you think about it, when the big billion day sales are coming, right? When the big billion day sales are coming. So we have a Flipkart, let's say example of the Flipkart right now. We have a Flipkart server, right? Do you really think that this guy is going to handle, if you're going to use the Catalyst devices over there, and this Catalyst is going to offer you the 40 gig link or maybe the 100 gig link as well. Not all the ports are 100 gig, let me tell you that. Few ports are the 100 gig. So if the switch is going to handle the 100 gig traffic, but what happened when the big billion day sales are coming, normally on that day, on particular that day, what happened? You have a traffic in the millions. Do you think that this capable of the switch is going to provide the handle of this kind of traffic? The millions of the traffic? Normal? No. It cannot handle it. So that's why in the Nexus in the 2008, what happened? Cisco came with the picture, so that it introduced the new operating system and new devices called as a Nexus one. So hey, let's move to the very reliability perspective and the speed perspective. Not even the reliability and the speed, right? Many of the new features that are coming right now, they are moving towards the Nexus operating system. At the same time, the XR operating system as well. So the reason to introduce the Nexus operating system and data center operating system, because of the speed and reliability. Why we need a data center? Because we need some place, some location where we can store the huge amount of data. And that data has to be accessible by the every users. And that's the beauty of the data center network, right? Enterprise network is just going to provide the connectivity, right, between the users to users. Service provider is just going to helping you to giving the services to the customer. But data center is a place where the huge amount of data is placed and all the users are accessing the data from that location. A good example, the Facebook, the Netflix. How many movies are present on the Netflix server? How many movies are present on the Amazon Prime? How many data are present on the Amazon? How many data are present on the Facebook? Can you imagine that on a daily basis, how much videos we are putting on the YouTube, where that video will be stored? Every single things, right? You are doing networking, you are thinking according to the enterprise perspective, but I think according to the data center perspective, all those data has to be stored somewhere. So let's say example, if the X guy has uploaded the video, right? Video number 1, today, let's say example in the 2025 right now, right? Then what happened? Maybe the Y user in the 2035, they can still access this particular video. Maybe this video is a 1 GB of the file. I can still access this video because this is present somewhere in the internet. But somewhere in the internet, what happened? This video has to be stored some places over there. And that's how the DC comes in the picture. DC means what? Data center, a center of the data. Now, in this particular data center, let me tell you that it's not all about the storage only. Data center is a combination. The many of the people has a myth about the data center. When the DC comes in the picture, if anybody you're gonna ask that, they will say you the ACI. If ask that, they will say you the VXLAN. I'm not denying it. These are the topic of the data center network. But beyond that one, we have our L2 and L3 networking as well. Not every company, guys, please pay attention over here. Not every company is running with the ACI. Not every company is running with the VXLAN. Check in your network right now, who is working with a corporate right now and who has access of the router and devices right now. Check that. Do you have a ACI? I cannot tell the company name, but I'm supporting the multiple things as well right now. I have checked that multiple company in the Delhi NCR as well. They are not using the ACI because of the cost. They normally use the Nexus devices. So data center, first of all, remove the myth from your mind. It's not all about the ACI. It's not all the VXLAN. It's all about the multiple things. It's all about the networking, the storage, the SDN solution, the server, what we call the virtualization. And the final thing, we have a orchestration that's called as NDFC. Nowadays, we have it. Previous, the NDFC we call as a DCNF. Now we call as a NDFC. So data center is a combination of all those things. So we are going to learn everything. We are going to learn the networking. We are going to learn the storage, SDN, storage, server, virtualization, and the NDFC, this part. And this is called as a particular data center.
So are we going to cover ACI and VXLAN?
Of course, that's a part of the SDN, right? AC. We are going to cover. Let me show you that what we are going to cover it. Okay, before I'm going to move to the cover part, I'll quickly show you that you must have a few things idea, right? Catalyst.
In the virtualization, we are going to cover the UCS.
Yep.
So it will be a lab-based or it's just
a lab-based, of course, everything will be lab-based. So if you see that the first the devices that we have, it was a Catalyst devices, and it was came in here around the early 90s time, right? Sorry, early 90s time this devices came in the market. 1984, right? The Cisco was introduced, right? And then they started working on the networking part. But finally, can you see the range of we have from the 90s time and 2008, we have a huge gap, 18 years, right? After the 18 years, it took that, and Cisco, they finally came in the picture. It's called as a Nexus one. (2008). So we have a huge gap over here, right? And the reason to bring the Nexus because of the speed and the reliability we have it. Right. Now let's talk about what we are going to cover it, guys. So Cisco Data Center. So we have right now the version 3 we have it. When I passed my exam, it was the version 3.0. Now it's version 3.1 we have. How this exam will be there, let me tell you that. So if I come to the exam perspective, right? So basically what happened, once you've done your CCNA, right? Let's say example, then you can move to the CCNP Data Center. In the CCNP Data Center, we have a core paper, right? You need to pass the CCNP core paper to move in the CCL lab exam if you're planning for that. Right? And this lab exam is basically a lab. It's 8 hours of the exam. So you need to give this exam in the Bangalore only. There's no other option we have in India. And the CCNP decode exam you can give from the anywhere, right? Even you can give from the home as well. So if you have money and you are done with the training, you can give the CCNP decode exam. You just need to book the slot. That you need to go on the Pearson website and book the slot, and then you can give the CCNP Data Center core exam. Once you pass the CCNP Data Center core exam, then you can go with the CCL lab exam, right? And right now we have a version 3.14. So what we have, if you see the topic as well, let me first clear the myth. So we have a 7 sector over here. The first we have 20% is a L2 and L3 connectivity, that your EIGRP, OSPF, ISS protocol, right? The spanning tree protocol, VLAN, DHCP, multicasting, these things are there. So if you're going to open it.
Okay, man, stop that. Stop it. Put it down. Put it down.
Okay, so if you see that on the layer 2 technology, we have a, the port channel VPC and the trunking tagging, right? We have a PVST protocol. Same thing that you have learned in your CCNA and NP level. Only the difference is that what over here, we are going to cover these things on the annex. As I mentioned that earlier, right? Most of the companies, right, are running with the Nexus operating system in their company's network, right? They are not running with the ACI. Most of the company running with the ACI plus Nexus operating system as well. So you need to understand every technology according to the annex perspective as well. Once we have done with the layer 2 and layer 3, it will take the 1 week, right? Then we'll move to the routing protocol, like how we can configure the routing protocol. These things are very important, guys, because when you go for the lab exam, let's say example, when you're planning for the lab exam, you will encounter this kind of questions over there as well. Then after that, we have an ISS protocol as well. The one of the good part, you only have a single area concept. Right? So because this protocol is totally dedicated with the, what we call, the service port and neighbor, right? But we do use this protocol in the ACI environment. And for that perspective, you need to learn this ISS protocol, right? And we have a BGP, of course. One of the interesting technology we have in the BGP is called the route server, right? Many of the things you have already, gone through that in the CCNP enterprise. So one of the new things that you have over here, route server, template, and this one. So these are the new things you have in the data center compared to your enterprise network. But these are the amazing. This is the amazing one. This is called as a eBGP route reflector. If you have not heard this term, yes, we do have a route reflector in the eBGP as well. So we have a route server as well. Then after that, of course, the BFD and FHRP protocol, for the faster detection, and the FHRP, we have HSRP and the VRP protocol. All these things that you see right now, all we are going to do the lab. We do have a lab as well, right? And then finally, we have a multicast protocol. We don't have a dense mode because Nexus does not support the dense mode. So we only have a sparse mode. The first will cover the IGMP protocol, the version 2 and version 3. And also we see the version 1 as well, right? And then after that, we'll move to the PIM. So once we have done this part, right, the layer 2 and layer 3 architecture, then you are good to go in the fabric connectivity, guys. The fabric connectivity, that's your ACI comes in the picture. Whatever the components we have in the ACI, like how whatever the, like a 93 model we have, 9500 model we have, right? How the controls are working, how we can do the policy, right? How we can perform the overlay and logical configuration, the physical configuration, the logical configuration that you have a tenant profile EPGs, right? Then how we can do the fabric monitoring of the ACI. These things we have comes in the data center fabric infrastructure. The name itself saying the fabric means what? you're going to talk about all the fabric sector. Right? It's a pretty simple. It's not too hard. I'm telling you, the word ACI is heavy, but it's pretty simple. Then we have a data center fabric connectivity. The fabric connectivity is what? How you can provide the connectivity with the external domain, right? So one of the interesting features we have like a transit routing. So previously it was not there. It was when the ACI was introduced, it was introduced for the stub. Now we do have an ACI as a transit as well. And how we can do the VXLAN ABPN, right? The VRF light, how we can do the OSPF on the ACI side, how we can configure the BGP as well, right? How we can do the multi-site, multi-pod and remote leap as well. So all this comes in the connectivity part, right? So once you have done with the connectivity, then you have finally someone asked me the question about the UCS, right? So you have finally storage part comes in the picture over here, right? After the storage complete, right? This part, whatever the protocols we have, a zoning, NPIB, trunking port channel, right? FCN, ACN technology, we have it. Once we have done this part, then we have services. In a services, if you see that again, come to the traditional one, the ACL, FHRP, private VLAN, port security, right? How we can do the radius and TACX on the Nexus devices, because the configurations are totally different than the iOS one. So that's why you need to understand these things. Network services we have, how we can do the inter-VLAN routing, policy-based routing, we can do that, route target, prefix list, how we can do the, what we call route picking between the VRF as well, how we can do the, how we can do the telemetry part, how we can do the DSCP, NTP, PTP protocol, right? So the PTP is the advanced version of the NTP protocol, you can call it, right? The PTP one. It's giving you the more granular way to do the, time synchronization. And then after that, we have our traffic management. That's our quality of service of the, on Nexus side, you have a POOP as well. And then finally, once we have done this part, then we have our data center automation and orchestration. Automation is the same thing, how we can do the Python and Ansible in the data center network, right? How you can configure the automation in the DC side. And the last but not least, once we have done this part, then we have a last topic is called the NDFC. So in the NDFC, we are going to talk about how we can mute everybody. So in the NDFC, we are going to talk about how we can configure the devices right through the NDFC, right? NDFC is a dashboard, right? It's centralized dashboard, you can call it in a simple word. And through that word, what happened, you can configure the Nexus devices, not even the Nexus NAT, right? Not even the Nexus, you can also configure the XR as well, XC as well.
So the NDFC that you were referring, that is the Nexus dashboard, correct?
Yeah, that's a advanced version of the DCNM, you can call it.
Okay, got it.
Right. Simple term, that's something in a single line.
Okay,
but it has a huge benefits compared to the DCNM. If you work for the DCNM, then you will see that it's a huge difference between the DCNM and DCNM. Of course, we'll have a discussion of this. Guys, please be on mute. Right? So we'll do the deep dive of the NDFC, how the NDFC works, and whatever the prereq for the NDFC, and whatever the components we have in the NDFC, we'll all discuss in the orchestration part. So what I did that, let me tell you, to make a very easy, all this complex, exam topics, what I'm going to do that, I'll tell you. Okay, hold on. I need to share this one.
So I have only one request, like whatever the link that you are referring, just put all the links in one.
Yeah, man,
yeah.
anytime.
Yeah.
You can see that, and also put the catalyst link, the Wikipedia, and I have I'll also suggest you to go with this link as well of the Wikipedia Cisco iOS. Right, let's give you the history of the networking. Someone has answered me the question, right? How many types of operating system you have? Go through this one. Let's give you the amazing knowledge and the Cisco Nexus as well. Reaching to the link is very important. So now let's come back over here, guys. how we gonna proceed with this training, right? So this long DC version 3.1, the huge data we have seen just till now. I'm going to divide into the section. The first section that we are going to cover, section number 1, we are going to cover the layer 2 and layer 3, right? Layer 2 and layer 3 technology. So layer 3 and layer 2 technology means what? Your VLAN, spanning tree. Guys, please pay attention my word. Spanning tree, VLAN, the what we call the DSCP, FHRP protocol, Ether channel. Then we have OSPF, static route, ISS protocol, BGP, multicast, right? All these things we are going to cover. Even the quality of service, NTP, TechX, right? Private VLAN, many things that all the comes in the legacy one, we are going to cover over here in the section 1. So the reason I'll tell you why we are going to cover with the section 1 first of all, because you will be a handy of this thing, right? Then in the section 2, what we are going to do that? In the section 2, we are going to cover with the Nexus technology. The Nexus technology, for example, you have a VPC, right? VDC. I know the VDC is a legacy, not a legacy technology, I can call it. According to the Cisco, we don't have a VDC in the examinations, but in production, we do use the VDC, right? So we'll go through the VDC. Of course, we cannot do the lab of the VDC. Reason is very simple. For this, we need a 7K devices, and 7K is the totally end of cell devices nowadays. So we don't do the lab of this one, but we'll understand how the VDC and what is the requirement of the VDC, right? And then finally, we'll move to the, what we call the fabric path, just a quick introduction of the fabric path and the OTB as well. It will give you a quick guide, guidelines regarding the VXLAN section. Of course, the hardware architecture.
We will have the lab for the OTV, or it's just a discussion?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
We will have the OTV lab, or it's just a discussion?
No, we'll do that. We'll do the lab of the OTB. We'll try to do the lab of the OTB. Don't worry. In a section 3, we have a VXLAN. So we can deploy the VXLAN in the 2 ways, guys. The first is called the data plane learning, right? Of course. And second, we have a control plane learning that you guys interested. The VXLAN EVPN. We'll also understand the design level of the VXLAN EVPN, guys. The reason I'll tell you, because many of the people has a confusion about the VXLAN. Hey, Law, you know one thing, VXLAN we have a EVPN we have in the service provider, and we are running with the MPLS over there. In the data center network, we have a VXLAN EVPN. What is the difference between that? So that difference will be clear over here. So once we have done with the lab and all the theory according to the data center perspective, then you need to understand the design perspective of this guy. What's the major difference between the service provider and the data center network? Section 4 we have. I have a ACI, of course. Section 5 we have, what do we call? Storage, SAN, we can call it simple English. Section 5 we have automation. Section 6 we have, 7 we have NDFC, right? So I divided this way, the big one, so that you will not get confused. Eventually, all this, whatever the topics that you see, all will be clear in this one, eventually, at the end of the day. Beyond that one, not the less. So all the blueprint that you see from the Cisco side, every single topic will be covered, right? Every single topic. Now you are good to go and ask me a question. So I'll tell you how. So section 1, this is how we are going to start the training, right? This is way, right? You can, you can jump to from the late, this one to ACI as well. Sometimes students say that, hey, Law, can you go to the ACI because I have a interview and I have those things, I have a deployment. So we can jump it, not a big deal, but your understanding will be a little bit less, because in ACI, we have a VXLAN. I know it's a by default, but we do have it. So that's why I organize the training this way.
So what topics we covered in ACI?
Sorry?
What topics we covered in ACI?
ACI, we have this topic, all of them. The fabric infrastructure, Like what about the controllers, what are the components we have, how we can do the policy part, how we can do the logical configuration like a tenant, VRF, EPG, macro EPG, right? Contracts, and how we can do the monitoring as well. And once we have done this part, then we'll go with the connectivity part. The connectivity, we are going to talk about the how the VXLAN are working, how the packet flow is there in the ACI. That's a very, very important. Then how we can do the L2, L3 out, how we can do the external connectivity, how we can do the transit routing, right? How we can do the stub routing as well, how we can do the multi-site, ACI multi-port and remote clip as well. So basically, if you see that, let me summarize this one. If you have a look in your complete data center, 100% of the topic, let's give one. Yeah. So in the complete 100% of the data center topic, if you see that, your 30%, just have a look right now. Your 30% is the part of the ACI, right? And your 25% is the part of the storage. Almost 55% we have. Now have a look what interesting part over here. Because I got a multiple request, hey, law, you know, the ACI, we need to do that, ACI, we need to do that, ACI, we need to do that. I'm not denying it, okay. But have a look, one interesting part. I just want to show you. Data center is not all about the ACI only, right? So if you see that in your ACI event, right, this 15%, you have a VXLAN, all the legacy one, right? So almost if I'm going to cut down this one, so almost if I'm going to cut down, I will cut down the 10% as well. So 45%, right? You have a ACI plus storage. The remaining 55%, the burden you have of the technology part. So definitely we'll do cover everything, but I just make sure that this is the myth that always people has it about the data center. Data center is not all about the ACI, it's a huge syllabus we have. Yeah, guys, anybody has any question regarding the syllabus part? And if I talk about the CCNP paper, right? CCNP Data Center syllabus.
Lord, this is Pavan.
Yeah,
So you have a one small doubt. See, here in the ACI, in the ACI, you are saying that we are covering this part, but in the ACI, how we can integrate like SLB, LLB, these also we can integrate third-party integrations. That also
third-party
are we
integration,
going?
VMM integration, I will do that, and we'll do the ACV integration as well.
Okay, what about the SLB and such type of things?
I need to check with the labs first of all, do we have or not. So whatever the integration is possible, I can, because see, eventually have a look this part, right? This that you see right now, it's almost 130 to 150 hours of the syllabus that we have it. Once we have done this, but let me tell you that once we have done this part, after that, if you have an external thing, hey, law, can you please help me out with this particular topic? Definitely, I'll help you that one. Once we have done with our syllabus, the Cisco syllabus, after that, if you have any question, hey, law, can we go with the this lab? Can we go with that lab? Definitely, we'll go that way. But first, our objective is to clear this one, because see, you are talking about the production perspective. Let's take example, some guys are interested for the lab perspective over there, right? So definitely, your question that you have, definitely once we have done.
Yeah, because you know that see in the ACI, these integrations are very important,
Integrations are very important.
To make the load balancing between the any servers or any VMs or any external links like that, right? So that is also important. Just try to cover this one also. It is from our request.
So that's what I mentioned that. So VMware, see, even if you go with the syllabus, right? Many of the integration is not there. I mentioned that we are going to cover the ACV or the VMM integration as well.
Okay. And in this, are we going to cover any TAP also, TEP?
TAP address?
Yeah.
That's a part of the basic ACI, dude.
Yeah, means see within the
we have
ACI difference within the two different data centers.
the DCI interconnectivity, you're saying that, right?
Right.
Yeah, we have it. I'm somebody you haven't seen that, maybe. You can see we have it. Multi-pod, multi-site.
Right.
We have it.
Multi-site. Right. Exact.
I have already pasted this link as well in the group. Sorry, in the
I see.
chat.
Yeah, sorry for that because I have joined a late
Oh,
because my
understood.
I'm getting my system some trouble.
No issue.
Okay, that's right.
Understood.
Yeah.
Anyone
Thank
else has any question, guys? Go ahead. If you're gonna ask me, then I can explain you, guys. Please.
Okay, I think you are referring about like the timeline, like how many hours of this course
Yeah.
are designed.
So
So I think can you just
130 to
complete?
the 150 hours of the course I have designed. So I'll tell you the legacy that you see right now. It approximately will take the near around 40 to 50 hours. It's depend on the person to person, like how much they are grabbing it. So let's say example, I'll help you over here. So some people has a most of the time a doubt in the layer 2 part. Some people easily grab the layer 2 part. But over here, let's say example of the ISS protocol. This is, I think, so new for everybody, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
heard, but we never worked.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm telling you, ISS is the right now. People are used to call it the BGP is the backbone protocol. It's a backbone protocol. ISS is an amazing protocol. You will love it. I'm telling you, when you're gonna learn about it. Normally, ISS, it's a part of the enterprise network. It's a part of the SP network. It's a part of the data center network. Majorly, you will see the ISS in the service provider network, in the tier 1 and tier 2 service provider. But ISS is there in the data center network just because of the layer 2 protocol. So this part that we see right now, legacy one, the section number 1, it's gonna cover the 30 to 50 hours in between. It's depend on the person speed. Right?
You are saying about when we are doing the fabric part, that time ISIS will come, right? That part are you saying, or how it is?
No, ISS we are learning according to the DC ACI perspective.
Oh, okay.
Fabric path is almost, it's done, man. It's dead.
Okay.
I don't think so. People are using the fabric path in the product. Hey, man, it doesn't mean that I don't think so, but I have personally seen the RIP protocol as well. So it's not to say that you don't use it. People are using it, but I haven't seen the fabric path, right? So, but why we are going through the fabric path? Let me tell you that, because if you understand the fabric path, then you have a understanding the VXLAN easily. You will have a clear understanding. Okay, what fabric path has a problem and why we are moving towards the VXLAN. All good. So this will be take that 30 to 50 hours. Then after that we have this part almost take to the 10 to 20 hours. This will be take the 10 to 14 hours of the batch for the VXLAN. The ACI will take the 20 hours. The SAN we have again 20 hours. The automation will go the 10 to 15 hours. And DFC our 10 to 15 hours of the session. So it's near around, it will go to that's the 130 to 150 hours of the target. It's the speed is totally depend on the student by student.
Yeah, okay, Len. And one more thing, in the automation, what we are going to cover means
Ansible Python.
with the
We are going to do the
Ansible
EPG configuration through the automation.
Yeah, in the Python, what the modules we are going, NetMiko or something other parts, or how it is?
Not NetMiko, I can say that in the Python, basically, I will show you how to do the list part, dictionary part, and those things. And then if needed the NetMiko, then we'll do the NetMiko as well over there.
Yeah, because see, to get the what configuration done by any API or any automation with the Python or Ansible, that time
Ansible
some modules is required, no?
Yeah, basically, I'm focusing on Ansible part. The reason is that because in the lab exam, right, in the DC lab exam, Ansible is coming, the playbook, and through that one you need to create the EPGs over there.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a major role I have in the Ansible.
Oh.
Sorry, automation part.
Yeah. Okay. In the automation, are we teaching like this also means I have a one small doubt. Say I have an Ansible playbook. I want to run in that playbook through the Python.
Okay.
Can we do like that?
See, I am not a developer, but I'll try my best to do that for you. Okay, because see, I'll tell you one interesting point, guys, as well. So when you are learning you are network engineer, right? And because I have also, this is the comment from the multiple students as well. So automation, you are learning as an automation perspective of the network engineer. You are not a developer, right? So my personal advice, learn the automation as per the requirement, but not being a developer engineer. Until
I
this, you are
got
not
it.
in the DevNet part, right? If you are interested in the more in the automation, go to the DevNet.
I got your point, but
Yeah.
see, sometimes what will happen, no? The
Yeah.
company or someone guys, they will prepare the some of the configuration or to retrieve the configuration from the devices, network devices. They will give us a playbook, right? So that time, that playbook I should run from the any another like Python or Jenkins or something else. So that's why I have put your question to it.
Understood
Is
that,
it?
but
Yeah.
we'll do that with the playbook only, right? Not to go with
Yeah,
the
sure.
deep dive of this one. One more thing,
Yeah,
guys.
got it.
If I talk about the CCNP examinations, right? CCNP has a multiple exam. So one of the interesting, we have a decode paper, right? That you need to always give it, right? Apart from the decode, you have a concentration paper, right? Concentration, you have the ACI, you can give the ACI paper for the concentration if you're planning for that. But CCNP decode is a very, very important to go with the lab exam, right? So normally you can give the CCNP yourself $400 charges there, excluding the GST. And the lab exam right now is going with the $1,900, excluding the GST. Right. So once you are done with the paper that I've given you, it's the CCI perspective, right? Once you cover this part, automatically your CCNP data center code and the ACI will be covered. All good?
Yep.
Any other question anybody has?
So far good.
Nobody has a lab question? How are we going to do the lab?
Yeah, that's an interesting part.
And everyone has missed that part, right? So lab, first of all, I'll tell you guys. So for the lab, what we're going to do that, we have a networking lab, and all the Nexus lab, you can access the networking portal, and you can do all the Nexus lab for the layer 2 and layer 3 one. ACI, they do have it, and the storage, they do also have it for the lab one. So all we do have a lab. So all these labs are 24/7 available. You can access that particular lab, and you just need to tell the networking guy, they will give you the credential and everything, and we can start doing the labs. All good?
Okay, one questions like I heard like this is the recording session. So once like our course will be complete, after that also this whatever the recording that we have, that will be available for the student, or that is
Yeah,
available
I
till
think, yeah, it's there. It's there for the strength. Yes.
okay. So that is for the lifetime kind of things, or is there any
That's,
kind
I
of
have no idea. So you need to talk to the team. I have
okay.
no for that one. So, but it's there. So once the batch will be finished, so I think so it will take the 3 to 4 hours, the recording get completed, right? And they'll post it recording on the server. And from the server, you can access that particular recording. You will have a username and password for it.
Mm, okay. Is this possible? Like if you can just log into the lab and you can just showcase like how you the lab is there, like the devices, what kind
I
of devices are
think
there?
so. Right now, the ACI, I don't have it. I'll show you the EVNG access that they have it. Hold on, let me stop saving it and get the credits.
And what about the UCS and the SAN switches? Do they have the lab for this?
SAN, I think so. It's not possible. We SAN for they have a, I think so simulator they have it SAN for. They switches. It's very costly, right? For the SAN, it's not possible, right?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I have a credential right with me.
And for the UCS?
UCS also they have a simulator for the UCS. ACI they have it. minute. So here I am logging, guys. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, and here we go. So basically, this is the lab of the networking, right? So you will get this dashboard, and then you will have a login access and portal, of course, right? You can go to the node and you can take the Nexus devices and you can do the labs at any time, at anywhere. And for the ACI, I don't have access right now. Okay, and DCNM, they have also written for this. All good.
Yeah.
Anybody else has any question?
So any kind of physical device also do you have, like for the lab or only for
Yeah,
this
they do have.
EVNGs?
They of course they have a data center in the Chandigarh. They do have it. I mean, not in the location of the Chandigarh. I'm in the Delhi right now,
Yeah, no issues.
so they do have it.
Okay, so like the people who are going to enroll and they can just get the physical lab access as well, like they can
Yeah.
able to
So you can able to access all the labs from the through the link and the public IP address as well.
okay, okay.
Anyone
Thank you.
else has any question regarding the labs, data center, CCNP? Anyone is planning for the lab exam over here? CCI lab exam, data center?
Yes.
Okay. So one paper, right? Okay.
I'm planning for the CCNP Data Center.
CCNP data center. I think the most of the folks are planning for the CCNP data center exam only. Seen that. Okay.
Along with the exam, we are just planning to gain the knowledge that is most important. So that
knowledge for the knowledge, then start working on this part, right? The section wise is very good thing. Because if you follow the section path, then your knowledge will be good clear, right? Because after the weeks land, then you can do the ACI, right? People are moving towards the ACI. So hey, let's go to the ACI right now. I don't have any problem if you want to finish this part, then you go with the ACI as well. But knowledge, if you want to gain that, this is the best way you can follow the section by section over here. Right, and start exploring the Cisco docs, the books that will give you the amazing knowledge. Right,
I have one more request actually. You must have done the implementation in your career. So during each topic or each technology, if we are discussing, share your implementation documents, everything if you have done for any kind.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying that in a implementation bias, I mentioned that earlier, right? Not every company you're gonna explore the ACI. Right, recently I have done the one development. I'm not gonna take the name of the company. It's been almost it was just my freelancer job, and I did the implementation of the NDFC, and I figured out the company was not running with the ACI, right? And they just said, okay, I need to go with the NDFC, and they have a normal DCI connectivity, right? Where I deploy the NDFC project over there. I figured out not that company. Many of the Delhi NCR company right now, they are not running with even the ACI. Right, they are only running with the Nexus technology, the VXLAN, right, NDFC, just for the management perspective, nothing else. ACI is the not a easy solution. You have to pay the lots of cost for the ACI. Not for the cost, you need a dedicated engineer for the ACI, and then you can learn the ACI. Okay, mere paas ACI hai, I can learn now, start doing the ACI part. So the implementation perspective, I will tell you, you need to understand the requirement of the customer, what they want, and based on that, you can deploy it. I think so. I cannot pause the recording, but I wanted to tell you something, but I cannot do over here right now about the ACI part. But we'll do that in the class, right? I'll tell you something about that one. Are you going to do concentration part of the DC? Of course, Chick, if I'm not wrong, I'm pronouncing correct name, right? We are going to cover the concentration of the DC. So once we are going to cover this part, the link that I gave you, that automatically your concentration will be covered. So you are good to go and give the concentration exam as well.
What will be the class timing and the duration of this course?
So it will be a start from the, I think so next week. I don't know when they will start. And 6 months you can take it. Right. So on a weekend, the class will happen Saturday, Sunday, and 2 hours of the class will be there.
6 months, it is very long duration, right?
Man, if you want to cover everything, right? You ask me the automation part, right? And something
Right.
the migration one.
Right.
See,
Just we can.
I'll tell you, two things will be there in a simple language. Either you can cover everything in the 3 months, right? And many of the things will be I will skip it. So if you see that in market, right, many of the people, right, when they are learning the data center and teaching the data center, they are not going to cover this part. Have you ever seen this part anywhere? EVGP router filter, anyone? No, right? So either I can skip this part, I can save the time, man.
No. Like that, we don't want to skip anything here.
Yeah.
Okay. But
So if you
what
don't
I'm
want to
thinking,
skip anything, you need to give the time. Otherwise, I have to go the topic. That's only one solution I can do that. Or either I have to go in the fast way.
No. Can we increase the time, and instead of getting a 2 hours, we can
But
somewhat
it's
we can
I don't think
stress.
so. I don't think so.
I
I
believe
can.
it's 3 hours of class, right? So
Sorry?
it was committed 3 hours, right?
No, I think so. I got to know that 2 hours only. Yeah, I have no idea. Let me check. I need to check with the team.
Okay.
Because normally I taking the 2 hours of the classes of the, because I have a 2 data center batches right now ongoing right now. I'm taking the two hours of the classes only. So I have no idea about this batches. So 3 hours they mentioned that. I got to know that 2 hours only, but maybe might be I missed that one.
Is there any chance to change the timings?
Changing the timing, I don't think so it's possible because I have already batches.
Oh, okay.
Timing will be, I think so, 1 p.m. only, or we can make the 1:30 p.m. That I can do that. IST towards the 4 o'clock and 3:30, whatever. But I don't think so. We can go beyond the 4 p.m. and below the 1:30. I cannot go with that.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, good.
130 is fine.
Yeah, good.
That's good one. So I already shared the link, guys. Please go through one. These are all the topics I have already pasted in the chat as well. And all the links you have it. You can copy and paste it and go through all the topics as well. And let me know if you want to add some topic. That definitely we'd love to cover it. But I think so that's enough one. Though someone mentioned the che maine. So nothing gonna be added over here. Otherwise, that will be increased more. Any books or resources that we needed? Definitely, we needed books. I will share with all the books to you guys. No worry. So I have a plenty of the data center books, design perspective, and the configuration perspective as well. All the books and all the configuration guide from the Cisco website. Everything I will share with you. Right. All the labs basically we are gonna do on the Nexus 9K, man, because 7K and 5K we don't have a virtual image, so we are not gonna do that.
Are we going to cover the hardware and
I mentioned that
architecture?
I mentioned it.
So from the next class, we'll start with L2 and L3 technology.
Yeah, that's the basic one, right? If you want, you can start with any one of the technology. I don't have any problem, but because if you don't know this part, then how can
No,
you?
I think so. If like we should go like the section wise only, because
Yeah.
at least like without
Because
that
if
it's
you're
like
gonna jump it from the Nexus technology, VPC, VDC, fabric path, then there is no need to do the L2 and L3 technology then, right? So let's go with the section by section. That would be good for everybody. right? Like for example, from the day one, we're gonna start like how to configure the Nexus devices, right? Whatever the modes we have, and always we are gonna make a comparison between the iOS to the Nexus one. We're not gonna go with the XR, XE, and those things. We're gonna make a comparison with the iOS to the NX one, like whatever the difference we have, how we can use the CLI, right, of the Nexus operating system. So the hardware architecture, I can put this one in the section one as well. But the reason I have not put the hardware architecture in the section one, the reason is that it's a little bit not a complex topic, I can say that, but huge things in there in the hardware architecture. And if I want to put this thing into the day one, then what happened? Many of the people get confused. Okay, kya aa gaya yaar? Acha खासा iOS में था, and I was enjoying the iOS. How it's coming in the NXS. So that's why I put the hardware architecture over here. Once we have done with the config part of this one, because everyone knows that what is VLAN, what is the spanning tree protocol, what is the FHRP, right? The BGP, OSPF, and ISS protocol. We don't have a EIGRP in the syllabus, and of course, because data center normally people don't use the EIGRP. Don't use the EIGRP usually, but it doesn't mean that you will not encounter it. Okay, but we do the configuration of the EIGRP as well. Okay. And so we have a special area in those. Yeah, we do have it. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah, they just have area tags up there. Okay.
Okay. But the EHRP will support in the ACI?
ACI, yeah, they do support it now in the new one. Even the Nexus do support it, but we don't have this EHRP in the syllabus.
Okay.
Like that, service pod also doesn't have a EHRP.
Right.
So every protocol has a different use case, right? EHRP is a majorly good protocol for the enterprise perspective, not the DCNS.
Because I heard in some months back that EHRP will not supported by the ACI, so that's when I put it.
No, nowadays it's supporting it.
Now it is
I did somewhere, nowadays it's supporting it. Initially it was not, but nowadays it's supporting it.
Yeah, okay.
Anyone else has any question, guys? Or check the EHRP.
But most of the
Mhm.
companies are using preferring which routing protocol? Is it BGP or
AC, yeah, sorry. Most of the depend on the scenario, guys. So you have a IGP is a totally different requirement. BGP has a totally different requirement. In IGP, if I talk about the scalability perspective, if I talk about the OSPF, you can go with. Normally, why we don't go with the ISS protocol? The reason is that most of the people don't know the ISS. That's why company not running with the ISS protocol. That's only one of the major reason, right?
Yeah, got it.
If you have a VPN scenario like a DMVPN and GRE, right, in the enterprise network, then I should suggest you go with the EIGRP protocol. Amazing protocol over the VPN part. Bad protocol over the VPN. It's a bad one because of the DR and BDR problem. Right, ISS do not work on the VPN part, so you cannot go with the ISS. So ISS, majorly you will encounter the service part network. OSPF and EIGRP you can encounter in the enterprise network. For the VPN perspective, EIGRP is good, not the OSPF. But OSPF is good for the normal scenario, and the ISS is also good for the big, large networks.
Are we going to cover this VPN technologies also here?
No, we don't have it, sir. सारा कुछ तुम 6 महीने पढ़ लो. And it's got a lot of 6 महीने, 3 महीने में हो जाता. How you can cover everything in the 3 months, 6 months?
So that we can increase the time now, so that's why.
They do support the EIGRP man nowadays? Looks like. We do have it. Okay. All good, guys. Anybody has any question?
The topology. Are we going to use the complex topology, or it will be straightforward?
How you want, man?
Complex.
Complex you want? Okay, I can go with the complex, but let me tell you that this is the one of the same thing come from the last batch as well. Okay, so how we can go with the complex and the simple topology. So it's depend on the person to person. So it's not like that. If you want to go, I can separately, once we have done with the small topology, I can go with the big topology as well. But understanding the technology, let me tell you that, okay, is very easy into the small topology. Big topology, looks fancy. But let's say example, if I'm going to give you the 50 routers over there, understand this case. And all the 50 routers we have over there. And I'm going to perform say that, hey, can you perform the NSSA area or the stub area over there and the virtual link over there. You will get confused over there in which side I'm going to run it and where the LSA will be flooded. I don't have any problem. We can go with that, but it's up to you. But normally,
No, in that case, we can build two kind of things, two labs. When we are going with the OSPF, as you said, then one small
either we
topology and
can do
another
one
one
thing.
is
Either we can do one thing. Either we'll learn the topology. Either we'll learn the technology in the small one, right? And once we learn with the technology in the small one, then do the lab, the final lab, right, into the big one. That you can do.
Hello, sir.
Yeah,
That's
that
the
we can do it
one-
section by section. So each section, once we are done with that, we can cover up, have one complex topology for that section.
So you are saying that, let's say example, section 1, we have for the layer 2 and layer 3 technology. And you want to deploy the big lab for this one.
In the last, once we are covered up with all the topics, then we can have one complex topology.
Yeah, I don't have any problem. We can do that. And on I can draw the topology and we can do that for this one as well.
And guys, we are thinking to after this technology classes, we are planning to deliver till CCI. So always in CCI topology, if you will see that mix of everything, whatever we are teaching in single module. So it's under discussion. So we are hoping we are after this technology classes, we are going to deliver CCI lab also.
All good. Anybody has other any question, guys?
Yeah, so far good.
So far good, right? That's good. So that's great, guys. So I'll see you in the next batch. Sorry, next class. Okay. And
Do we have session tomorrow?
I think the networking is
I'll ask my team you keeping updated next 15-20 minutes on the email. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you guys. Bye bye.
Thanks everyone.